Hi all, I had an interesting game last night when I was playing for Barnet Chess Club against Wanstead Chess Club. My opponent was N.Syed, rated around 149 ECF. He played d4. I played my favourite King's Indian defence, so I'm going to the King's Indian here. And after d6, instead of playing f3, the Simish variation, he plays bishop e3, which kind of implies he might be playing the Simish variation. But because he's left out f3, I did seriously consider, and eventually played the move knight g4 here. I thought this was quite interesting, because after bishop g5, I thought I could easily exert more pressure on d4 straight away, especially after the move h6. So I play h6, bishop h4, and now c5, so I'm hitting out straight away at the d4 square. He played now h3, which I'd looked at. I don't really want to retreat that knight. I'd rather play g5 if necessary. But first I take on d4, just winning a pawn temporarily. After knight d5, now I play g5. So I don't mind shattering my pawns here. I'm a pawn up after all. And he'll have double pawns as well. So he takes on g4, I take on h4, and now he plays knight f3. We looked in post-mortem analysis, and we found, I think bishop d3 would be much better than that, at least with some ideas of knight f4 to f5, h5 later. But after knight f3, I just took on g4, so now I'm 2 pawns up. I'm not really convinced by White's opening play here. He played now bishop e2, because he can't take on h4 because a bishop takes f3 followed by e6. Let's have a quick look at that. Rook takes h4. Pardon me. Now here, instead of that immediate recommendation, bishop takes f3 is much stronger, I think. Queen takes f3, e6, but maybe White has queen g3 here. Now, even so, it's still better for Black with bishop f8 apparently, according to Ribka. So it'd be just 2 pawns up. No, a pawn up there, but just with a much better position. So anyway, bishop takes g4 was played, and after bishop e2. Now I played e6, and actually he played queen a4 check. So this is all a bit odd. I just played knight c6, and now he plays knight b4, and I thought I'd just ignore it, because I can always get in a queen a5 check if he ever takes on c6, so I just ignore it, I just castle. So I allow him to do knight takes c6, I just take on c6. And now he tries to win a pawn back with knight takes d4, but actually I just take on d4 and allow him to take on g4, because I've got bishop takes b2 here, and I'm disrupting his ability to castle. So rook b1, bishop c3 check, and now he played king e2. It's a bit of a disastrous move. King f1's much stronger, according to Ribka. It's much safer. King e2, and he allows me to play queen g5 here. So I'm hitting g4 and the d2 square, sort of forking those two squares. So he tries to protect this bishop, but he moves his bishop to h3, and I just play queen d2 check now. And this is a bit devastating, because if king f1 here, then just queen d3, I thought during the game, just picking up the rook. But apparently there's a mate in 8, believe it or not, with just bishop d4. I didn't really see this. There's a mate in 8, so that's mating in 8 moves, apparently. But I was just going to do just queen d3. Anyway, he played king f3, and now I just play queen d3 check. And his king's about to be mated in this line. King g4, queen takes e4 check. So he plays f4. And actually, I have an elegant mate in 4, just with either f5 check or h5 check. If h5 check, for example, king takes, queen g6, king takes, and then bishop f6. There's also another mate with even f5 check here, mate in 4. King takes h4, queen takes f4 check, g4, bishop f6, king h5, queen g5. So this hasn't been the greatest demonstration of king safety. Actually, after f4, I just played king h7. I thought that was quite simple as well, just with the idea of rook g8 check. But actually, this does stretch it to a mate in 6, according to Rupert. But anyway, he resigned after the sequence of king h7. He took on h4, and I just took on f4. Because after bishop g4 I'll have f5, which is a mate in 7. So let's have a quick overview and summary of this game. I was black, it was a King's Indian defence, and he didn't quite play the Simish variation. He omitted f3, he played bishop e3 instead of f3, and I just took this opportunity to play knight g4. Actually, one of my teammates was surprised I'd put the knight there on the edge, wondering what I was playing at. But there's a justification here. It's just this central pressure to h6, bishop h4, just c5. It's very nice pressure here already. So he played h3, I took on d4, and now this g5 comes to the rescue. So I'm temporarily a pawn up. Actually here 2 pawns up now. After e6 there's this strange interlude with the c6 being captured. And now he wins one of his pawns back, but it's bad for his king safety. His king can't castle. And then queen g5 was just a killer blow, really. So bishop h3, and his king was sucked up the board a bit, just for this mating net. So, I hope you enjoyed that game. Please leave any comments on YouTube. Thanks very much.